Okay, folks, this is something new and exciting. It's a paper airplane that's radio controlled. And yes, this one's made of foam. And yes, you can fly it inside, which we'll show as part of our unbox build radio setup. You might be seeing it this at the beginning or the end of the video, but one way or another, very simple, basic setup. You move the battery forward and backward to make your center of gravity. We have it pushed a little bit further forward, and that's gonna make this plane a little bit faster. So we're gonna fly it right now. Comes with this little transmitter and little battery, little charger, everything but the 3 AAAs that you need to run the controller. The winds are light, but we'll see if it's enough to still be able to control this thing, because I'm curious if it's gonna work in this wind. All right, without further ado, about 50% throttle and just a gentle toss. Boy, that thing definitely goes a little crazy out in the wind. You gotta fly the environment, folks. Look at this. I gotta get that battery way farther forward. I mean, it's like actually not bad. It's very slow. I'm like 50% throttle, guys. You know that I love flying slow planes. Oh, shoot, I was hoping to catch it. So there, I guess it did a demonstration automatically for me. Camera crew, if you wouldn't mind. Mm-hmm. So the way this system works is you actually mount this to your paper airplane and then you fly it. It's very basic. I'm gonna lay this on the shoulders of my camera crew and I'm gonna stick it back on, and you can make fine adjustments to the exact position of where this sticks. And in my case, I'm gonna stick it back. Whoops, I went backward, didn't I? That's actually supposed to be the other way.
Yep.
Yeah, that's backward, guys. Sorry, folks. Now I've stuck it down. I wonder if it'll fly backward. I'm guessing it won't. So all you have to do is just kind of carefully peel it up, and it surprisingly comes off. And then you just put it around the other direction, and there you have it. It's very basic. Now, once I've got this stuck back down, I want to show you. I'll move the battery. Actually, I need to put the whole mechanism forward, don't I?
Could.
Let's try putting the battery forward first and give just a little bit of trim down and a little bit of trim down. And we'll see how that does. Now, you can see that controller is a little slick.
It's kind of small.
I gotta warn you, it's really slick, actually. You see the hawk?
You might not want to fly for a second. He
Whoa.
might eat your plane.
Yeah, that hawk would totally eat this thing. So basically what's going on is you adjust where the battery is to get your center of gravity right, and then you see if it goes, okay? So I'm gonna hold this nice and still, all the way up, all the way down. I knocked the batteries free when I dropped it, so here we go. There we go, a little bit better. Battery all the way forward, it does just fine. And look how slow and docile it is. I'm at like 50% throttle, keeping a little bit in the tank. Surprisingly fun little thing because it actually flies. And if you guys want to get something that's real easy to fly and really fun project, get this thing from the links in the video description below. Support the hobby shops that work with us. This one here comes from BitGo. And so obviously it is just a fun little project, and I'm gonna try to catch it. Yes, I actually did. And I gotta say, the coolest thing about this is you can build a bunch of different airplanes that come with the kit. But then if you don't like the airplanes that came with the kit, you can change it up and actually do other airplanes. Excuse me. But then if you wanna go real high alpha and fly it inside, you can slide that battery way back. Excuse me. All right, we're gonna try one more time. Uh-oh, we got rain. Yep. We're gonna fly in the rain. Paper airplanes in the rain. What kind of nonsense is going on today? So we'll just bring it right back to the camera crew and beyond. And here it is, guys. Beautiful. So if you guys haven't already checked this thing out, check it out in the links of the video description below. You can buy one for your very own. They're really fun to fly, especially if you have a windy or rainy day. Or heck, just take it out in the rain anyway, because everything is covered up by the foam. And I gotta say, I was super impressed with how well this thing flew. And it's just a basic, fun little thing that you can get. And there's a bunch of fun little craft stuff you can do with the kids. But just keep in mind, this is pretty much an adult toy, because it is not gonna be something that the kids will be able to the survivability will be poor. Yeah. That's the best way to put it. because I don't think the kids are going to keep this alive long.
Not gonna be very robust.
Yeah, not very. So why don't we go inside and fly a little bit more, because I want to fly it more.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm going to slide my battery back so that it's roughly 3/4 of the way into the back, okay? I was all the way out as far as I could go forward, okay? Might go even just a hair more. Perfect. All right, so we'll just fly this here and show you how well this works. This is so much fun because flying indoors is something that I wanted to do so bad as a kid and never really got an opportunity to do it. And now we can do it with impunity because this thing actually flies really nicely. And yes, you can do tricks and stuff like that if you have enough room, but as you can see, we got lots of different apparatus to avoid. And this is a really good way to hone your flight skills because it uses the same control techniques that you would use if you were flying a regular Mode 2 aircraft. But that being said, you don't have elevator, you don't have rudder, but what you do have is a lot of fun. And so, other thing is, it doesn't get broken every time you crash. So every time I run into something, I think this thing's gonna be destroyed. And yet it just keeps coming back and flying just fine. So let's go a little bit slower even still. And you can get all sorts of creative out of this. Okay, so we'll go back like that. And I really geek out on flying stuff inside. I don't know if you guys do this already about Brian Phillips RC, but I actually love flying indoors. It's one of my favorite things to do. And it's funny because some people would say that's lame, but I get it, you know, like some people are just not into this stuff. But I love flying inside. I love controlling a little thing inside the air. And it's fun. And it is actually somewhat challenging. Oh, I killed it again. Let's see how bad it is. Okay, so what happens if the whole thing falls off? You already saw this outside. So what happens is that's your opportunity to then move this to a different airplane, or you can try to put it back on. And as you can see, it's not broken, okay? And so what I wanna do is I wanna take and make this thing, I wanna put right there. I wanna see if I can move this forward even more, okay?
Okay.
That's gonna slow it down like something crazy, okay? Now I'll probably need to move the battery just a little bit farther forward now, okay? Or excuse me, I'll have to leave the battery right in the center. I don't know, maybe that's gonna make it way fast.
It might.
That's gonna make it nose heavy. I wanna make it tail heavy.
So
I apologize, guys, that was totally backward. What am I thinking? See, and you get to play with this on your own if you buy this kit. Okay, I'm gonna go back like, see how it says 10 millimeters right there? Got that little mark. So we'll just put that on there. See how this works. This should be like way standy-uppy. Oh yeah. Almost wants to fly upside down. So I think we found kind of the sweet spot there where we can get away with having this whole apparatus back further. We need to then push the battery forward. And surprisingly, it's really robust. I thought it was gonna be breaking constantly.
Yeah.
But it's actually been great. And it's actually quite easy to fly, and I love that you can really get it in there and go slow. I don't know if you guys see how close it is to everything.
Well,
and what now?
I say, especially if you had like a big open gymnasium.
Oh yeah.
Or something, you know, where you could fly inside.
Oh yeah. And the thing is, I think really we've drawn the line where it needs to be. So if you're flying inside, you can push it back to as far as the 10 back, and that's about all you're gonna get. It definitely has a sweet spot where it likes to fly and where it stays nice and stable. But then once you start oscillating, you have to really get aggressive to control it. Oh, that is so cool.
Into the office.
Into the office. Well, at that, guys, I think we're gonna call it quits. A really fun RC paper airplane. And I think you should check it out in the links of the video description below. If you have questions on how to do the build, stay tuned. We'll show it next. It's very easy. It took us like literally seconds to take it out of the package. And now that we've crashed it a number of times, you know how to move it to another plane. So very easy, very fun, and comes with pretty much everything you need with the exception of the 3 AAAs. So check it out. Follow the links in the video description below. Help support Brian Phillips RC. If you don't want to support us with that plane and you'd rather get this J11 or this M4 or something even more crazy, we completely understand because this isn't going to be for everybody. But at the end of the day, we love to show all these different cool ways to enjoy the hobby. And it doesn't have to be $1,000 or more. You can spend a little bit of money and have a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys will check it out, and we appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned, so much more from Brian Phillips RC. YouTube, we have a box. We're gonna open it right now. It comes in a nice garbage bag, so we'll find out a little bit more about it as we go. What is this, you say? It's a paper airplane. What the heck is going on here? RC paper airplane. Weird. RC paper plane. I guess we're gonna find out how this thing works because we were a little bit intrigued to see if it actually does what it says it's gonna do, which is hours of fun or something like that. Well, we're gonna find out right now. So if you're new to the channel, it's Brian Phillips RC. We open stuff up, we figure out if it works, and then we tell you our report on it. Sometimes it's airplanes, sometimes it's helicopters, sometimes it's quads, sometimes it's sleep blowers. You just never know. All right, so today it is an RC paper airplane, remote controlled paper airplane, and it comes with a little handheld device and then some sort of a black diamond.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So this would be a fun project for the kids. They can build their different choice. There's a cat that evidently likes it.
We have those.
Okay. Whoa, there's like a whole thing in here.
Oh.
Wow, okay. So there's tons of them. Oh, these aren't just paper. These are like little foam airplanes. So all sorts of different styles.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So you can build just a normal paper airplane too.
Okay.
And then these ones look like you can cut them out.
Are they
So
like
different folds.
fold
They're
lines?
different fold patterns. Okay, so different paper. Comes with all that. Okay, pretty cool. And then it also comes with these couple of different plane designs and some paper to separate. So this would be a great little craft deal. And of course, what I'm most concerned about is the ability to make it remote controlled. That is kind of what I like about this thing. Okay, so there was one thing the manufacturer wanted us to mention, and that is the landing gear are for people that want to play with these on the ground and not in flight. So I didn't want to forget to say that. Okay, so what else comes in the kit? Looks like this is, yep, that's everything. So we can actually just leave that in the box. Pull out the plastic cover. And what do we have here? We have a bag of probably charger and battery, I would imagine. Yeah, yep, some landing gear. We were just talking about those. 150 milliamp hour battery. Paper plane battery, so it's got a little tab here. Micro pH connector and a spare prop, or there's 2 of them. So this one says R4, and this one says L4.
Okay.
And they're very small, so don't lose them. And then lots of little double-sided sticky tapes and some tapes, as well as some other stuff. And it looks like it comes pre-built. Okay, so the transmitter is very small. If you have adult hands, this is gonna be a little bit tough. This is fixed, it does not have a yaw axis. So this is just left and right. This is just up and down. There's a channel 3. These are rocker switches. And then this thing opens up, and I'm guessing it's got a charger in here. Let me try this. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but as I depress this, it doesn't want to let go. Okay, so I'll leave that where it is. 3 AAAs are going to be needed for in here. Oh, and then that pulls off, but I don't really know why. That's weird. Okay, so maybe they use this in another configuration. All right, and then what do we have in the center here? We have what appears to be one of the paper airplanes already built, and it's delicate, so I don't want to peel it out of there too rough. Oh man, that's really light. Okay, so there's the actual goods. So you can see we've got a brushed motor and a brushed motor, as well as the paper plane receiver, battery plug, and then a spare channel right there. So it looks like you can put a third something on there. And then they've got this designed so it's capable of having some trim tabs built in, okay? So that's gonna basically fly for us. So we have to check the CG and all that stuff. And then there's also some wing spars that come in here. So if you need to add the wing spars for weight or for strength, you can do that. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab some batteries and come right back. All right, so we got the batteries, and while camera crew is grabbing 3 AAA batteries, I'm gonna get this adapter out. Okay, so this is the adapter. It says 5 volts at 2 amps output and 3.7 at about 0.5 amps. So the charge rate is 0.5 amps, which is 3 times 1.5 or 150 milliamp hours. So that's pretty fast. Okay, it did not come with the little AC adapter. So you have to provide your own AC adapter. Let's see how this works. Okay, plug it into the outlet. I don't see any light. Let's flip it around. I don't see any light.
Okay.
And then when we plug this in, see how it's kind of got an opening? That's where this side goes. You can tell because there's a little void to receive that little tab. Okay. So when you press that in, the red light comes on. Okay. So now if you want to charge your batteries faster, we use this charger all the time. This of course is not included. It might cost as much as the airplane, but it is an option. We use it often for these type of projects. I'm gonna go ahead and switch to the other outlet there. And we'll just plug this thing in and show you how this works. This also will tell us what voltage we have on this battery right now. So I'm gonna go into the plug in this case because it's a micro pH connection. Okay, so it's plugged in. And then I wanna set this to 1.5 like that, and then press and hold to start it. Now we're at 3.8 volts is where we started from. So that's gonna charge. Now we can set the charge rate faster on this as fast as 1.2 amps, but in this case, I'm actually charging slower than the provided charger. And for that reason, we'll have a little easier time on our batteries. But what I wanna do is I'll go ahead and stop this. Okay. Once the light shuts off, I can go ahead and pull this back out. Now, I'm not a big fan of the fact that you have to pull on the wire. So just minimize that as much as possible, and we'll use the factory provided option, okay? So the red light came on. We'll just leave this here as a reminder. Now, if you're new to the hobby, you're in the right place. Brian Phillips RC is always willing to do basic, simple entry-level planes, all the way up through whatever you see in the background. We've got 2-meter planes back here, this big yellow one in the background. We've got jets and EDFs. We've got helicopters. We've got 3D stuff. We do it all here on this channel. And so don't ever be afraid to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. And if this is where you're going to start, then so be it. Or if this is just a fun gift for the grandkids or for your kids or for yourself, then that's cool too. But we're going to show you what it's all about and if it's worth your money. All right, so we got the flat, goes to the spring side. Flat goes to the spring side, flat goes to the spring side. Then put your cover back on and you're ready to rock and roll. Okay, so that's easy. Power, little red flashing light, all the way up, all the way down to arm it. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off though, okay? So now it looks like these landing gear parts are gonna work with these landing gears. So I'm gonna just lay these wheels back in here. And then these spare props, we're not gonna need yet, so I'm just gonna lay back in here. And then camera crew and I are gonna read the manual for just a quick second, come back. Okay, so the factory charger has a little light that shuts off when it's done charging. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug this. I'll plug it into this one just so we can see what the voltages are. Okay, so once we plug this in, we should get a reading. Yeah, 4.2 volts. Okay, cool. So I'll go ahead and unplug that, and then we can bring this over and energize the plane with it. So the way these kits work is you can build a paper airplane, and then this plastic portion actually comes off of here. You can cut the tape and peel it off and use it on a regular paper plane. But I want to use it just on this foam because I want to see how well it works. Okay, so I'm going to slide this battery into this little cavity here. which is going to allow us to center the gravity, find the center of gravity, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna turn this on. I'm gonna plug this in. Now watch your fingers so you don't get cut. You can tell which way that goes because it's keyed. It only goes one way. There's a red light. So I'm gonna lay this flat. I'm just gonna wait. I don't know if we have to start with this off first. We go up, then down. Yeah, okay, so we have definite throttle. Okay, now this is gonna operate with differential thrust. So it's gonna turn one faster than the other. And that's gonna help turn the plane. So I've got the battery centered, and so obviously the big part of this is just figuring out if it's centered, okay? So I'm gonna move my manuals, and I'm just gonna give it a little glide. Okay, so feels like maybe it's slightly tail heavy. Okay, so it's flying. I think that's probably about right, and I put the battery right in the center. Okay, so what I want to do real quick is go ahead and move all the stuff off of our island, because really this is a delicate airplane. Even though this might be a fun project with the grandkids, it's actually meant for adults, which is why all the papers look super adulty. Right. So if you guys want to get this and build one with your grandkids or your kids and then enjoy it, that's fine, but just keep in mind, it's a delicate thing. So this is not gonna probably be surviving very long in the kids' hands. So we're just gonna see how this works. I like indoor planes. I don't know if it's gonna be slow enough. Center of gravity is too far back, but as you can see, it's working.
You made it all the way around, twice.
That is pretty sweet,
That's
actually.
pretty cool.
I'm getting into my own wake turbulence. So I'm basically holding the right stick. Camera crew, while I'm just kind of holding this pattern,
Yeah,
I want you to come over to me so I can kind of hold it. Okay, so now did I destroy it? I don't know. Let's find out. Doesn't look like I destroyed it.
Okay.
Okay, so I think in a slow environment like this, it might make sense to actually push the battery back a little bit further. And that's gonna get us into more high alpha configuration. So it's gonna fly a little bit more nose up, okay? So that's gonna allow me to slow down. So I'm just gonna try to give it a little toss. Oh yeah, that is so cool actually.
So now it's flying a little bit slower?
A little bit, but just very marginally slower. And see, as you know, in our living room, we've got all these hanging down lights. You can see the turbulence from the fan running, and that fan is barely moving, okay? Oh, so it's actually quite easy to fly. I'm surprised how easy it is to fly. It's a little bit hard to catch. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go a little bit further back with the battery. And so if you guys are new to the hobby, this is probably gonna be a little bit challenging for you, but it's not an overly difficult plane to fly in the order of planes. Okay. So this is gonna tend to wanna oscillate a little bit more as the center of gravity gets back further. That is so cool, actually. I wonder if I can turn it around. Probably not. No, not enough. But it's so light, it's really easy to catch. And I'm surprised. I thought it was gonna be a lot more delicate than it is, but it's actually doing really well. I wonder how windy it is out there. We've had rain today,
raining, yeah.
So I really want to fly it outside. Okay, so now let's go ahead and move the battery forward to just see if we can get it a little bit more nose heavy. Like considerably more nose heavy is going to make it faster.
Okay.
I think. Okay, so here we go. Oh yeah, it's definitely faster. It's flying a lot quicker, but it's flying really good. And you just basically change your attitude with throttle. And then of course it's going fast now. So I wonder if I'll be able to get it turned around. Oop, probably not. So as you can see, that was probably a little bit too fast. Okay. And so really what you do is you impact change by adjusting the battery's position. And there's even this convenient little mark on the diagram. So what's cool about this kit is that you can do this for hours and have a really good time. But when you get tired of that or you break it, you can get a little dining plate that's made of foam, and you can cut out your own shaped plane, find the CG and mount this device, this little apparatus to it. And that's what all those extra little stickums are for. So when you're done with that plane, you can build one of these, which this one looks like some sort of a rocket, okay? Which would be really fun. And then of course, then the paper airplanes, and they have these designs for you. And then the stickums are used to help hold the actual hardware onto the plane. So it's a really neat little fun system. And I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna see if we can get outside and get a little bit more flight footage before we call this quits. But really fun little project. RC paper plane, check it out on BitGo Hobby. And you can buy one for your very own or buy a couple. And then you can use them as kits that you can fly together, which would be really fun. And if you want to help support Brian Phillips RC, you can follow the links in the video description below. And if this isn't quite your speed and you want to go a little faster, a little bit more robust flight experience, then we have tons of other stuff that you can pick from. You can also go over to brianphillipsrc.com and you can search by brand, by style, and then make, and things like that, or float planes, or 3D stole, all that stuff, jets, EDFs, and we'll help you find some of our plethora of video footage, because we literally have thousands of videos for you to find right now. So if this doesn't quite do it for you, it's available right now. But I still think that's a pretty fun little system. And the cool thing about it is you can make and remake and make and remake and just keep having fun. And you can do it on a budget because this is not a very expensive kit. So hopefully that answers your questions. And yes, it does come with everything you need except for the batteries that we put in here were 3 AAAs. So make sure you have 3 AAAs sitting around. And then also make sure you have some creativity. So we're gonna clip to some outside footage and hopefully this answers all your questions. Leave your questions and comments down below. If you wanna help support us, Patreon, PayPal, YouTube membership. What else?
Super thanks.
Super thanks. There's a lot of different ways out there, but we still firmly believe the best way to support Brian Phillips RC is to keep the products flowing. And the best way you can do that is to buy the stuff when you find something here on Brian Phillips RC that you like through our links. That helps them to know that you saw our video and it brought up, it either brought your attention to their product or we helped to close you on that particular product. And so when you buy it, then they'll know, hey, this guy helps us to sell this stuff. That's what we're doing for a living. Well, at the end of the day, these guys are making a living of it. So we want to help them sell more product. But at the end of the day, we serve you, the audience, and not necessarily the vendors. But it is a cooperation here because they send these things so that we can review them for you. So anyway, hopefully that answers all your questions and you'll enjoy one of these for your very own. Stay tuned.